I speak to Kieran maybe 2-3 times a week.
Okay.
I'm lucky I get to kind of spend a couple of days a week with him and watching him work and his staff. And yeah, he's absolutely incredible. The best I've seen. I think genuinely world class in his ability to coach and deliver and manage the team.
Hello and welcome to the Blue Monday podcast, discussing Ipswich Town up or down since 2015. I'm Richard Woodard, and I'm delighted to welcome back for an interview special back to the pod, ITFC Women first team manager, Joe Sheehan. Joe, how are you?
I'm doing really well, thank you. Enjoyed some time off, and looking forward to getting back now and starting the season.
Yeah, it's plenty of. Is this an exciting time of year for you, or is it kind of headaches because you've got to figure out, contracts, you've got to figure out preseason training, which I'm sure we'll talk about in a bit of whether you enjoy preseason training as much as the players or not, but plenty of stuff going on behind the scenes, kits and stuff like that. Does that kind of stuff excite you, and do you enjoy it, or do you just want to get playing football?
Yeah, I think it's always nice to have a bit of a switch off. And then, as you kind of get closer to a return, it gets quite busy, and as you say, there's a lot that goes on in terms of kit, training kit, match day kit, and having all the numbers and letters for match day shirts, piecing the squad together, staffing structure, further investment, facilities, pitches, friendly fixtures, academy intake, induction evenings. And they're all things that need to be organised and put in place. And it does get quite busy fairly quick, but it's a time of the year I certainly look forward to.
Good stuff. Well, let me take you back a little bit. You said kind of the dust has settled a little bit on the last campaign, and I guess probably a kind of a season of two halves, really. What was your reflections, particularly on the second half? We obviously spoke around Christmas time, and things were looking good, and then plenty of excitement in terms of cup runs and that kind of stuff, but obviously just missing out in terms of playoffs at the end of the season. What's your reflection?
Yeah, I think you can look at it in various ways, really. And, we'd kind of said throughout parts of the season that we weren't necessarily satisfied with performances at times, but obviously had a really, really good start. And it's quite strange that I thought the better we got, as a team in terms of possession, if you like, I think we actually found it more difficult to create and score goals. And I think a lot of our game at the start of the season was really transitional. There was lots of turnovers. And because of that, with the pace that we've got, we were able to, kind of have like really fast breaks and score and punish teams. And when we became a better team in possession and less sloppy, we often found ourselves then finding it quite difficult to break teams down. So that was probably initial reflection. I also think that it's easy to look back at games where maybe we drew and should have won and really dissect them. But ultimately, when we go into the game against Southampton where we're leading at half time, we're 45 minutes away from a huge win and potentially 4 games from a playoff game. So I think that's where you have to kind of put it into a bit of perspective as well, because I know it's a 90-minute game, but for 45, we were brilliant. It didn't look like Southampton were going to get anywhere near us. And a mad 9 minutes, and we're behind, and suddenly our season was falling away from us. So, yeah, that's how I kind of review the season. I went and watched the playoff game, and I hated every minute of it. I almost felt like I was a child younger that had been playing up throughout the week and had been invited to a birthday party and was told to sit there and watch all the other kids play on the bouncy castle while I had to just watch. It's kind of what it felt like. I wanted to be part of that game, and we wanted to celebrate and achieve something that they did. And watching all of that was really difficult, but I think it's kind of humbled me a little bit. We've always had huge belief and confidence, and we've always set our bar really high, and we felt we were going to be the best team in the division, and obviously we finished as the third best team. So yeah, it's a bit of a reality check for us, and now maybe a different approach going into next year, knowing that we are currently the third best team in the division, and we've got a lot of work to do.
Did you find it a struggle? I mean, we spoke about this during the season as well, how teams set up to stop you. That became a strategy. Is that something that, when you reflect on your own management style and your strategy, on your tactics, something that you've learned from this season that you can use for next season?
Yeah, possibly. I think that when you win 11 in a row and you develop a reputation for being a really strong team that wins games, you then have to accept that when you don't win, opposition are going to do everything they can to stop you winning, and obviously celebrate stopping you winning. So it's really difficult to work out how to kind of overcome that. And as I say, I think you're right, really, that teams try to stop you winning rather than try to win, and add to the fact that we became a better team in possession of the ball. I think we had a lot more structure to our play. We had a lot more control. You're then trying to break down 10 players plus a goalkeeper, and sometimes that can be really difficult. Even watch Champions League games of Man City and Atletico Madrid. At the top level, it's difficult to sometimes find space and break teams down. Now, obviously, the teams we play against aren't as organised and defensively as equipped as someone like Atletico Madrid. But equally, we're not as good as Man City, so it's very relative. And yeah, we have to find a way to maybe be a bit more mature in our play. I think we'll certainly learn from the experience of last year, and I think we probably were guilty as a whole of being a bit naive and maybe impatient at times, and any kind of disruption or distraction to our game was really bothering us, and whether that be an opposition player, staff or officials. I think that the moment we gave our opposition a sign that maybe we were frustrated or impatient, it kind of built on that, and that also then made it difficult for us, and we can think back of games where that occurred as well. So we'll certainly have to learn from them. We'll certainly have to be more collectively mature and patient and stronger to deal with those moments, because it might help us with that one or two chances that we might get to score.
Is that an experience thing? I mean, this is still a really young team. We often forget this. They might have been collectively together for a few years now, but is that experience, or is that something maybe that you can lean on the resources of the football club, the men's football club, and get psychology and sports psychologists and that kind of stuff in? Is that something that you've thought about?
Yeah, we have Jack, who does a lot of our performance psych, and he's been brilliant. He's been with us 2 or 3 years now, and I think it's an experience thing. I think, kind of reflecting on it and understanding how to deal with those moments. And as I say, maybe naively, with such a young group, that kind of feel like that we're quite honest. We feel like, 2 teams should play against each other, and the best team should win. And that's what academy football has been like for us. We pit ourselves against other academies, and you play your way, they match that usually, and the best team at it can come out on top, where we have to appreciate now at senior level, and again, especially when you do develop a reputation for being a strong team, that opposition aren't going to make it easy for you, and they're doing everything, going to do everything in their armoury to stop you. And we'll certainly have to look back on those moments to work out kind of what the key aspects of our game and their game that we can take away and certainly prepare for differently to ensure that we can overcome those challenges.
And finally, before we start to look forward, the FA Cup run obviously increased the stature and the attention of the club, massively. Do you look back on that as a positive experience overall? Obviously, the learning from it's going to be great, but you were obviously attacking on 2 fronts there for a while. May have that been a factor towards the latter end of the season in terms of those 2 things to focus on? Maybe,
and people have said to me that when we have had quite extended cup runs, our league form has dipped a little bit. yeah, people said to me this year about, is that the progress potentially distracted in a negative way to the league, and I don't think so. I think sometimes, when you can have something like that, it can relieve the pressures and the thought processes of the league week in, week out. And ultimately, we just want to try and progress in all the competitions and perform and win as many games as possible. So, yeah, the cup experience was a great one. I certainly think where we're at as a club, that we're trying to engage with more fans, and we're trying to build our profile and the commercial aspects of that as well. It certainly was a huge period for us, because, as I say, we managed to sell out a game and play on TV in a quarterfinal of a major competition. So, yeah, that experience was a great one for us. Put us in national news as well, which was quite great, quite good.
Yeah. And that attention is also good when it comes to attracting players as well, maybe as well. And we spoke to a couple of members of the 91-92 Ipswich men's team, and they had the cup run that culminated in I think it was a quarter-final or a fifth-round draw at Liverpool and off to Anfield. Their form steadied actually over that period, and that game gave them the confidence. So yeah, I thought I'd throw it in there. Obviously, as a spectator, as a supporter, not only was I caught on the cameras, which was nice for my ego, but those are the kind of things that memories are created off the back of as well, isn't it? So that's what we want as supporters, as well as giving the team some experiences too.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you said there, hopefully there'll be many children there and supporters that would have been inspired by that, and we'll whatever route they go down in sport or life, they'll look back on that, and hopefully that game would have played some sort of part in inspiring them and motivating them to be part of something that that we've been able to do. So yeah, all in all, it was a really, really positive experience.
So looking ahead then, I mean, we're as Ipswich Town Football Club, we're a year into the game changer era of their ownership. How much has it changed in terms of resources available to you, the attention for the women's team, and maybe some pressure to succeed perhaps?
Yeah, I think we're probably not in a position yet to really reap the benefits of the new ownership. I think that, when the club was taken over and new people brought in, I think the project at the club as a whole was just so big. From obviously facilities to the stadium to the training ground to the first team, the academy, the women, the community. The job, I think, was so big. And over the past year, I think that the people that are now involved have been tackling those things at a time. And yeah, I think I think when the new ownership came in, we were quite a steady period of where we were at. We wasn't as if we were desperate for things. We were quite well run, well resourced, fairly self-sustainable. So I don't think we were part of, I call it like an immediate rebuild, because it wasn't really needed for us. We were in a good place. And yeah, I think that the club is over time, slowly but surely, making real progress everywhere across all departments. And we know the work that's been going on with the community trust has been huge, and how that's increased massively and has changed now to the foundation. So yeah, I think we're in a position where progressive investment and trying to really work out kind of the direction that we're going in. Obviously, we've had a lot of people leave as well, people that have played a real key part in kind of overseeing us, like Leo Neal notably. So it's now working out how does that transfer across, and Gary Probert has been someone that's kind of been spearheading our department of late. So yeah, the club have been great, and it's important that we continue to build on what we're doing, but equally we appreciate where we're at, and we know that the top two divisions is kind of where the grant and the resource and the money is, and it's so difficult to get there. So I think we have to be very careful on how quickly we try and progress financially with investment, because we have to make sure our infrastructure and the people that we've got that are kind of leading it on and off the pitch is in place. help us keep making the progress that we will hope to make over the next 5-10 years.
Yeah, and I have to ask this because some folk watching might not have heard us chat about this before. Obviously, the pitch renovation at Portman Road is seen as a kind of a driving factor behind getting the women's team playing at Portman Road. That's obviously been deferred to next summer. Has there been any more conversations about possible games, maybe one-off games at Portman Road?
There haven't, and again, I think it'll probably be the same as last year, that until there has been renovation. I'm not sure the pitch is in a position where it can handle games on top of the men's first team. And whilst you could say I'd only be one, but then you play an under 18 youth team, FA Youth Cup game, that's another one, and then an under 23s game, that's another one. And before you know it, you've said yes to a few people, and there's better off. So for the time being, we're quite happy at Felixstowe. We'll try and help if we can to support with kind of pitches and helping with that. If we get to the top two divisions, and there is a new pitch in place at Portman Road, and there's an appetite for it, then there might be selective games there, possibly.
Fingers crossed. And one more bit before we start talking about plans for the new season. Well, two more bits actually. I just thought of this as well. Have you had much contact with Kieran McKenna? I know that he's come to training and stuff like that, and Martin Pert. I wonder whether you guys kind of have a therapy group where you bemoan the dark arts of the opposition teams that you're facing, and maybe the lack of quality of the officials to sort it out. Is that have conversations happened, or generally are you liaising with Kieran McKenna much?
Yeah, I speak to Kieran maybe 2-3 times a week.
Okay.
I'm lucky I get to kind of spend a couple of days a week with him and watching him work and his staff, and yeah, he's absolutely incredible. The best I've seen. I think genuinely world class in his ability to coach and deliver and manage the team. So yeah, I'm very fortunate. I'm able to kind of spend time and we have good conversations, and obviously sometimes talk about what we're doing, and obviously pick his brain where possible amongst his busy schedule. So yeah, he's very accessible for me, and that's going to be huge for me, I think, in the near future, to be able to keep learning and keep watching him, because he is as good as it gets. Obviously
a disappointment. We've talked before about how the promotion situation in the third tier is a bit of a bottleneck. What's your thoughts on it, and do you have a huge amount of hope for supposedly the more wide-ranging reform that's supposed to happen next year?
Yeah, I was hopeful that might change. I think I might maybe have to be in a position where we just kind of get on with it. I think we will have to then fancy our chances, hopefully, to win our division and win that playoff. I think the moment we start complaining again, maybe we're doubting whether we can win a game like that. So we'll have to just get on with it. I am hopeful and confident of what a reform will look like, and potentially expansion of the leagues maybe, which will mean that we can eventually flourish in a not too distant future. So yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah, and you guys won't be aiming for anything other than first place anyway. So even if it had changed, it's not like you suddenly aim for second instead. It's you've got to be aiming for that top promotion spot. So let's look ahead. Let's start with some departures. Obviously, some big news that has just come through the other day, which probably caught a few people off guard. The departure of Paige Peake. Can you talk us through that one from your perspective?
Yeah, it's a player that's obviously been with us. Would have been going into a 5th year, and someone that I'd had 2 or 3 years previous. So someone I've known quite a long time, and yeah, very ambitious, very driven, very clear on her pathway and her journey and where she wants to get to. And she felt it was an appropriate time for her to pursue something different. And she was very keen to join Southampton. So yeah, it's kind of opened the communication for her on that. And yeah, she had conversations and they were keen, and yeah, she moves there. But it's it now gives an opportunity for someone else. We pride ourselves on developing our younger players, and now we've got to try and find the next one. So yeah, it makes it another exciting challenge for us to try and develop the next batch of players, and notably a centre half that can come in and contribute over the next 2, 3, 4 years as well.
Yeah, and as you say, it's kind of it's a bit of a kind of a weird one, because obviously, as you say, we know, having spoken to you from the past, that development is really important. As you see Ipswich Town as being a development kind of pathway in the region for women's footballers, and inevitably, if you do such a good job of that, and obviously Paige is a driven professional as well, wants to succeed, then that's kind of part of the course, isn't it? That's going to happen.
Yeah, I think that the club will see it as a success because we were able to receive a transfer fee for a player that can move on and up a division into another team that are playing higher. So yeah, there will be an element of success that you could look at. I think we're lucky that we got a group of players that have been together a long time and are very, very driven to try and achieve something with us.
Yep.
We accept that we're going to generate interest in players, and Paige wasn't the first to have a club that were open to taking her. We've had it in the past with Sophie Pesquet, and we've had it this year with Abby Lafayette as well. So we do have players that develop good reputations and generates interest, but we're very, very lucky that there's such a commitment there, and they want to achieve something together. That is very, very key, and that's something that's been really strong for quite some time. So yeah, I think what we'll have to accept that there might be times when players think that it might be time for them to explore something new. But for the time being, we're very confident the group is such tight-knit. They are determined, and they want to create something that is so unique, because I think that for a team that, some of these players play together since they're 8, 9 years of age, to do that over that period of time and get to one of the top 2 divisions with our homegrown players would be a story that you could write a book on. And they are very, very determined to kind of achieve that. So yeah, I think it's still got a very, very positive group, a determined group, and one that will stick together and keep trying to progress with the football club.
Yeah, sounds good. And there's a few other faces that have left the group as well earlier in the summer. Issy Bryant off to the States, and Lindsay Cooper, I guess, in a different part of her career, leaving as well. Do you want to talk about those two? Obviously, Issy we didn't see a great deal of her. Obviously, well known for that penalty shootout contribution in against Southampton, wasn't it? Talk to us about those two.
Yeah, I think sometimes we come across players that we take into our academy, and we kind of feel that, whilst we want to progress and transition everybody into our seniors, we do get players that are an absolute adamant on continuing their education in America. Maria Boswell was one, interestingly, that was always wanted to go to America and actually didn't. We always felt that it might be something that Izzy will want to do, and Charlotte Kellett's done it previously, sort of 3-4 years ago. So we always knew that, the opportunity to change environment, different country, new life experiences, and the education aspect, we always knew that to some it really appeals, and kind of had an idea it would appeal to Izzy, and it was something she was really keen to do. And yeah, it was Molly Sutherland last year who went to Texas, and Izzy will go to I think North Carolina this year. So yeah, it was someone who had good progress with us in our academy for 2 years. Didn't quite cement a place down in the senior team that some other our younger ones have had, but everybody's journeys and timelines can be very different for many reasons. So yeah, she goes with our well wishes, and Lindsay's been an incredible servant. And I think I said this when she departed, that Lindsay's, it's such a shame that the way the game's going is almost like the likes of Lindsay have just kind of missed the boat a little bit in terms of, had she been born 6-7 years later, she's someone who would probably be playing in a league above potentially. So I think if you look at where the club has been and is now at, with all due respect, the resource, facilities, the staff that someone like Lindsay would have spent her prime years developing was nowhere near what it is now. And if she's managed to rack up the games and perform to the level that she has with minimal resource, with 1 or 2 training nights, of not that many staff and staff doing it voluntary or out of goodwill, it would have been really exciting to see where she could have got to had she had the opportunities earlier. So yeah, nothing but respect for Lindsay. Was determined to really make it work, and I think when we got promoted into Tier 3 and the distance of travelling increases, and a mum and with children and a family and a husband and a job, it makes it very, very difficult to commit to the training and the games, and especially when you're not playing every week as well. So yeah, someone who found it really difficult but stuck with us right to the very end.
Yeah, you need those kind of individuals and characters in particularly a young squad as well. So yeah, all the very best to her. Let's turn things around to more positive news. And the great thing last season was the ability to offer pro terms to some of the squad. Is the plan to do a bit more of that? We've obviously here on Blue Monday, and some of our subscribers keep a keen eye on Lucy O'Brien's progress in particular. Is there anything you can talk to us about on that?
Yeah, so we've kind of proposed what the next batch will look like. It's something we're keen to keep building on, our younger players and trying to contract as many as possible. And Lucy is someone, who's got a huge future. He's got fantastic potential, and another asset to our club, and one that we want to try and reward and keep developing. Because she's going to be huge for us going forward, and I think she's going to have a really, really exciting season for us, I think.
And Summer obviously is also in a similar kind of point in her career to Lucy as well. What a season she had, particularly the second half of the season. Similar thoughts on her?
Exactly the same, yeah. Has had national recognition recently, and she's someone who's got a really bright future, and I think her rate of development is just accelerated so quick. Someone that's not had an elite pathway as such, but has really made strides since she's been with our academy, and is developing physically, confidence, and all other aspects of kind of those bits that are going to be really important, because we know that physically she moves so well, she's so strong, she's really quick, she can run all day. Technically, she's a really, really tidy player. And if she continues to gain more experience and mature and play more senior games, you'll only see Summer getting a lot better as well. So it's going to be a really, really exciting year for her.
We talked about, there's a couple of gaps there and opportunities for younger players maybe to stake a claim. Are you happy with the balance of the squad? Obviously, we've still got time. The season starts mid-August. Are you looking to make signings and that kind of stuff?
We've met with 1 or 2. We kind of had an area of the pitch that we wanted to try and to recruit, and we've not been able to do that. We thought we were close, really close on one. But yeah, I think we're always in a position where we kind of identify, is there an area that we think we need, what's available to us. It's really difficult, I think, where we're at the moment, with what we pay and our location. I think it makes it really difficult for someone to kind of pick up and move out to us. We're very, very passionate about committing to players in our region, but our region at this moment in time, from senior players, isn't really blessed with a lot that we can kind of cherry pick from. If you're based in and around Essex, Greater London, and you've got the amount of players that will fall out from the Super League and the Championship and drop down, we're not really part of that kind of mould. We're able to get Livia Smith out of that area because I knew her previously. Bonnie's fairly local, Sarah Quantrill's fairly local. But it's never easy. It's never easy kind of enticing players out. As much as I think what we do know is that the players that we have spoken to really appreciate the environment that we have, and they really see it as a place that they can really develop and really see that. But from a financial aspect, it's something that we're not in a position where we can to do something like that at the moment. So yeah, we also, like I go back to earlier, we're not desperate for players. We put full faith in our younger ones coming through as well, and even the likes of Eloise and Kyra and Blue that have kind of come out of our academy, we still regard them as young players. They're now developing to really mature, experienced senior players, having racked up 40, 50, 60 games at senior level. So they'll be a year older, a year wiser, a year more experienced, a year more mature. So it just allows us to potentially bring another one through because of where they're at. So yeah, we're in a good place. We'd like to have brought in maybe one, but it's no huge concern.
And you mentioned Blue, I mean, and Sophie as well. Neither player was able to feature a huge amount last season because of injury. How are they doing? And because kind of like two new signings anyway, isn't it, those two?
Yeah, I'm so excited to have them back, and speak to Blue and Sophie quite regularly, and yeah, very, very reluctant to talk about timeframes, and not just them, but also the medical people that are working with them. So yeah, we kind of have an idea, but we're not placing any specific dates. But they'll be back in with us, pre-season, and they'll take part in quite a bit. But obviously, there's a lot they still can't. But having them back, hopefully, for a significant amount of our season would be absolutely huge for us. A huge boost to the team, and yeah, they were certainly missed.
Yeah, and you get different things. Obviously, Blue, the captain, leadership. Sophie's going to give you that direct running, but it was also going to create chances as well. So, yeah, big areas of the pitch where they can make an influence, isn't it?
It is, yeah, and I spoke a lot about Sophie. I think her stats at the start were just ridiculous. I think even at Christmas, she was still our highest number of assists and created the most chances. And even at the end of the season, I think she was still in the top 5 for chances created, and she'd only played 6 games. So we know from an attacking perspective that she's just a huge player. And we probably didn't speak about Blue enough, actually, and because she's kind of plays in the middle of the park and breaks up play and kind of does the basics really, really well. But I think we probably also underestimated her leadership in and around the group, out on the pitch, at training, because while she comes in and she's in the gym and she's seeing a physio and whatnot, you won't really feel her presence with the group as much. Because she's got such high standards. She communicates so well with everybody. It's great rapport with all the players and staff, and has got a really, really strong drive and consistency in her application and her attitude that really rubs off on everybody. So having that back will be absolutely huge for us as well.
Yeah. Let's talk about the pre-season programme, because it looks really competitive, a good balance of teams. And we've got the double header at AFC Wimbledon with the men's friendly as well. Talk to us about that. Must be excited. Wolves I've kind of picked out here. Is that a dry run for next May, Joe?
I thought it was last year, so I'm not going to say anything on that this year. Yeah, we hadn't actually penciled in Wolves. They weren't originally part of our schedule. We were unsure when the league was going to start. We thought it might be that weekend. But yeah, we're relatively pleased. And you want to kind of get a nice balance, but again, there's not a lot out this way, so we have to travel a little bit. We'd also had Bristol City in the schedule, and they'd pulled out on us, which was quite disappointing because we planned to go away to their high performance centre. It was potentially exploring a mini camp en route. We've used Bisham Abbey previously. So yeah, that wasn't able. They pulled out on us. So we're potentially looking at trying to fill that, but we're quite happy with 4 games. We obviously have our academy as well. We can utilise with a behind closed doors game, so we're not desperate for a 5th game. I think it's got to be the right game We do have some potential options, but yeah, we have to pick the right game for that. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be really good pre-season for us, and so the Wimbledon game is a great opportunity for us to go and follow the men and get our first game under our belt.
And potentially a really chunky away following as well. A large number of people who may have not travelled down to Felixstowe before as well. So a good opportunity to get people excited before the new season.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, it'll be our first game, so we're not sure how rusty we'll be, but yeah, it got a great opportunity, hopefully, for some support to stick around and hopefully be impressed by what they're seeing, and will potentially inspire them to come and watch us at. And he said the Gold Star then, but I think it's changed, isn't it?
Has it changed? Is it? Okay, we'll have to look that one up.
Delwood Avenue.
There you go. Felixstowe, Walton. And also worth mentioning, and this is something I've spoken to a couple of people about as well, who are travelling down for the men's game against Bolton on the Saturday. Charlton friendly the day after on the Sunday, and Charlton are Championship, if I'm correct, aren't I? Yeah. So a real big opportunity potentially to get a lot of excitement around the new season, and obviously a really competitive opponent as well. Yeah,
we've actually never played a Championship club since I've been around anyway. We've either played Tier 4 or now Tier 3 or Super League. So yeah, it gives us a good chance to kind of see what that level looks like, and I think Charlton will be a really fair reflection of it. A team that have got huge ambitions of their own, have kind of been close to making the sort of top 4 or 5. So yeah, it'll give us a really good indication, I think, of where we're at, and maybe what that next step looks like.
And finally, let's talk about support, the Blue Army. Details about True Blue, that's kind of changing a little bit this season, and I think we'll liaise with Kieran and get details sent, and we'll obviously retweet from Blue Monday's accounts. But the numbers were really solid, among the highest attended club in the 3rd tier, I think, and obviously selling out against West Ham as well. How important is that support been?
Yeah, the support's massive, and when we speak about, like we did earlier, about what we do and who we commit to from the players wise, I can't help but think how it wouldn't infuse our community, really, because it's something that's so unique about what we're trying to do. So to have people that can get behind us on that, it's going to be really important. And just say it's great to have numbers and feel like we're flying the flag for our kind of league with supporter numbers. But we know it's so important. We know our supporter numbers, True Blue members, our commercial partners, and all of our sponsors are so important. And even the meetings that I've been having at the club around investment and budgets and whatnot, the impact of our True Blue members and the people that come and watch us on a Sunday, and our commercial partners, they have a huge difference, make an absolute huge difference to things that we want to try and implement and improve. So we will be able to do things this year that we couldn't do last year because of True Blue members, because of the tickets we sold for the West Ham game, because of new commercial partners and player sponsors. So it's literally what we're getting in, we're able to spend on the group and helping our infrastructure improve for us to keep making progress. So can't underestimate how important the supporters, the community and our sponsors are, because they're helping us make that progression year in, year out.
Great stuff. And as I've talked about before, particularly for me, a point of massive pride to not only be a True Blue and watch the team firsthand, but Blue Monday and our group of our subscribers will be continuing our support through sponsorship. A couple of players, I think, continuing the Lucy and Laffy, that should be confirmed at some point. We're really excited about that, and really glad that it makes a difference to you guys, and hopefully for the players as well.
Yeah, no, and we know the players appreciate it, because when we speak a lot about what things could look like if we had success and if we were able to play in the league above, but we know we have to earn that, and to earn that we do need support. We need resource, and we really feel the impact of our partners, of our supporters, of our community, because we know it plays such a huge part in helping us trying to get to what we think will be a life-changing division for us. You know, with the investment in the Championship now, and Barclays sponsoring a league, and the money that's going into the professional game. We want to taste of that. We want to bite of that cake, because it means that we can do even more, and that's really exciting as well.
And obviously, we're in the midst of a European Championships as well. So hopefully, lots of people getting inspired to get involved, and plenty to be excited about. Joe, thank you as always for being so open and honest with us. Thank you for chatting and taking us through the plans for the new season. We wish you and the team all the very best. Hopefully, get to chat to you, and unfortunately the sponsorship players will have to chat to me no doubt at some point during the season as well, but wish you all the best, and thanks for being on the pod.
No, I appreciate it, and thanks for all you do and having us on, and hopefully we'll have a really good season.